Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about perhaps a subject that I get more questions about than just about anything else that I deal with. And it's about carrying guns. It's about carrying weapons in public. What are the rules? What are the laws? What can I get in trouble for? What am I permitted to do? Now, I'm not going to be able to cover all of this in a 5 to 10 minute video with you because there's a lot that can be discussed. But I do want to give you kind of a brief overview, especially if you may be facing a weapons or maybe a gun or a knife, some type of weapons charge in Texas. I want to spend a few minutes breaking down the law for you and kind of going over some of the things that you should be aware of. Now, I appreciate you joining us today. If you wait around to the end of this video, I will also give you a free ebook, What to Do If You Have Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. By the way, if you enjoy what you see here today, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content just like this. All right, let's jump right into this. What is the law? Well, I'm going to kind of spend a little bit of time spending more of my discussion about guns than I am about anything else. Now, most of this pretty much transfers over to other types of weapons, but I think it's important that we spend some time talking about guns because that's what most people have questions about, and that's most of what people carry is a gun. So I know recent legislation, there's the open carry law, there's the, many have a license to carry their weapon, a concealed carry license. And so there's a lot of questions that come up, and maybe sometimes the law, there's some confusion and it blurs the lines. And what I find is people will accidentally break the law and they don't even realize that they've done it because of this confusion. So you can openly carry, under Texas law, you can openly carry a long-barreled firearm, but in order to openly carry a handgun, you must have a permit, and the handgun, according to the statute, must be carried in a shoulder or belt holster. And even then, there's certain places you cannot carry. There are many places that will actually have posted on the business, bars, other places, colleges, different campuses, schools, universities. It will say this is a prohibited place. You are not permitted to carry on there. And in fact, if you bring a weapon onto a prohibited place, it's actually a felony. Very serious charge, a third-degree felony. Okay. In fact, I find that happens all the time at the airport. Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, people accidentally bring a gun. Having the gun itself may not have been a crime, but obviously bringing it into an airport, a prohibited place, creates a pretty serious crime. So if you are charged with this is where it's important. I find a number of people that I represent, they're not bad people at all when it comes to this type of offense. They just weren't sure about the law, and they were never intending to break the law. So let's break this down. The first offense we're going to look at is unlawful carry of a weapon. So the unlawful carrying of a weapon under the law is under Texas Penal Code, Section 46.01. Now, I'm not going to read all these to you, but if you go through that particular portion of the Penal Code, it'll define what weapons are. Everything from explosive devices to firearms to, everything you think it is, right? Knives and everything else, including brass knuckles and firearm silencers, all of those things that you can think of on there. But I think what's more important about that is what is the situation that we find people that end up getting in trouble for this? Well, let's say you're carrying a weapon in your vehicle to protect yourself, okay? Let me first tell you this. You right now under Texas law, you can take your weapon, your firearm, keep it in your vehicle, and there's something right now called a traveling presumption. So the police officer is going to make the law says he has to make the presumption that you are transporting that firearm from one location to another location. And as a result of that, that presumption allows you to move that weapon back and forth, and you have not committed a crime. Where you get in trouble, though, is if you have a gun, even if you're a concealed carry holder, right? You've got a license. What if you had a night out and you went out to drink with a friend? Maybe you met a friend at a bar. Maybe you were with family and had a few drinks at a restaurant. If that police officer pulls you over and now he investigates you for DWI, it is now illegal to have the weapon in your vehicle. Okay. Same thing if you happen to have illegal drugs in the car, marijuana, THC oil, any other type of drug. If that is now in the vehicle, you will end up picking up 2 charges, one for the drugs or for the DWI, and the other for unlawful carrying of a weapon. So that's very important. Now, the penalties for this, an unlawful carrying of a weapon is a Class A misdemeanor, which means it carries a punishment of up to 1 year in the county jail and up to a $4,000 fine. If you are found to have a weapon in a school or a prohibited place, a bar, a location that has a sign clearly saying it's prohibited, that is a 3rd-degree felony. That can be a punishment of anywhere between 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. So I think it's important to go over this because, number one, that's the basic crime of unlawful carrying of a weapon. Then you graduate yourself up to the unlawful possession of a firearm. Okay. Now, what does that mean? The unlawful possession of a firearm. Let me read this to you here. The law says that if you have ever had any prior felony convictions, if you've ever been convicted, you are not permitted to possess a firearm if you have any prior felony conviction for which you've served prison time and it has been less than 5 years since you're released from prison. If also you may not possess any guns or weapons if you are a state employee with a protective or restraining order in force against you, or you were convicted, here's a big one, of a domestic violence crime, whether it be misdemeanor or a felony, and it has been 5 years since you completed your sentence, whether the sentence ranged from community supervision all the way up to prison. So if you take a felony conviction or you take a domestic violence, even a probation, even a deferred adjudication probation, you cannot possess a firearm during that period of time. If you do, you will be charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, and that is a 3rd-degree felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. So the point of the matter is, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, you don't want this charge. If you have questions about your situation, maybe you need some assistance from the Hampton Law Firm, we'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Don't hesitate to contact our office at 817-877-5200. Once again, we are the Hampton Law Firm at 817-877-5200. Now, I promised you if you waited around to the end of this video, I would give you a free ebook, What to Do If You Have Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Click the link down here below, and we'll be happy to send that over to you. And thanks again for joining us on our video series today. Look forward to seeing you on our next video.